We all know that Disney's live-action remakes are generally reviled, but I think I'm typically a little softer on them, because I usually look at them more like celebrities putting on a little school play version of the old movies. Sometimes it's cute, and sometimes it's just boring or annoying. But in my opinion, the best one they've done so far is The Little Mermaid. Because this one did a great job of just taking the animated story and retelling it with the strengths of live action. Obviously, we all know the story of The Little Mermaid. A little mermaid named Ariel is obsessed with the world of dry land and even dreams of exploring it herself, even though her father forbids it and everybody tells her it's better to stay where she is. But when she rescues a shipwrecked prince and wants to see him again, she makes a deal with the sea witch Ursula to trade her voice for a pair of legs, and has 3 days to get a kiss from the prince in order to stay on land. I think what makes this remake work is the fact that it feels like everyone making it knows they're not replacing the original. They're just doing their own rendition of it. And ironically, I think that ends up making it a decent version to introduce a kid to this story with for the first time. Take the songs, for example. These versions aren't going to replace the originals, but the performers are clearly having a great time getting to use their talents for Alan Menken and Howard Ashman's timeless music, just like anybody with these talents would enjoy doing for an audience. And talented they are. Everyone's already said it, and it's true. Halle Bailey's singing is incredible. It's hard not to get sucked into her rendition of Part of Your World. It's really beautiful, and there were a lot of points where I thought she sounded almost exactly like Jodie Benson. And Melissa McCarthy's Ursula was surprisingly good. I hate to be like this, but I feel like whoever had the idea of casting her wasn't thinking much beyond plus-size actress equals Ursula. But they got lucky, because McCarthy, like a lot of great comedians, always seems like she's putting her all into whatever role she's given, comedic or not. She really stepped up to the task of giving a dramatically sinister performance, and her ability to switch from speaking to singing was so good. There were parts of Poor Unfortunate Souls that were giving me chills. And Daveed Diggs as Sebastian was great in his own way too. And speaking of which, the singers weren't the only performers making this their own. Animation is a performance in itself, and the CG animators here, I think, did a fantastic job working with the strengths of their medium. I particularly loved what they did with Under the Sea. Cartoony fish worked for the original, but here they decided to choreograph accurate sea life. All the species they show here really do exist in nature, and you can tell they put real thought and effort into making creative visuals out of their unique shapes and movement and biology. The same goes for Kiss the Girl, but instead of a lot of wildlife, they use some great cinematography and effects to make both a visually and musically pleasing number out of just the natural environment and our three main singers. I know the animation on these three has been getting mocked a lot, particularly I've seen a lot of people look at the crab and go, "What the f*** is that?" But I don't really get it with Sebastian. I thought the animators did a great job of getting human facial expressions out of his little crab mouth and his big eye stalks, and they really accentuated Diggs' performance. I can't really say the same for Flounder and Scuttle, though. They really have the same blank stare the whole time, leaving Jacob Tremblay and Awkwafina to carry the performances. Tremblay does a cute job, and Awkwafina, I guess she's supposed to be annoying, so good job? Look, I didn't love her performance, but it didn't intrude enough to annoy me too much. Even the infamous scuttlebutt rap, as out of place as it was, I didn't hate it at first, but the longer it went, the more I was like, just stop. Cause yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda added a couple of songs, and they're fine, but even though it's obvious they're trying, they just don't have the same sense of unique identity that Ashman's did, or even that most of Miranda's other work does. You can tell they're just here to add another 45 minutes to the runtime. Now, that's a lot of extra time, but other than the new songs, it doesn't feel like wasted space. They actually use that time to develop the characters a little more, like the relationship between Eric and Ariel. In the original, they did take time to show them spending time together to fall in love, but this film takes that foundation and builds on it even more in a very natural way. They show that Eric is the same kind of free spirit as Ariel, having a love for exploring other worlds, which is why he was sailing on the ocean in the first place. It's much more organic than, say, what Beauty and the Beast did, with having the Beast read. But he hates what Belle likes, And also there's a magic time travel book that lets you see your dead mom? Yeah, it's much more organic here. And it also works so well because of the new setting. As opposed to the original, which was in a vague seaside place somewhere in the Atlantic, which worked for a more timeless fairy tale land. Here, they're specifically in the Caribbean, and they have fun with that. When Ariel is exploring her new world, it's just as fun for us to see. There's all these people having fun doing everything Ariel always wanted. Dancing, selling little trinkets and foods. And seeing these real people show off a little bit of culture from a real place, it circles me back to my very first point. They're playing to their strengths of being in live action. We get to spend some time with some nice characters, and this little Caribbean island is such a nice place to be in. Well, those are just my thoughts after watching this movie. What'd y'all think? Agree? Disagree? Think I'm stupid? Let me know in the comments. And let me know what you thought of this film. As for me, I was so hoping to make the pun, The Little Mermaid, but surprisingly, I gotta say, The Little Mermaid? More like The Little Mergas. I know these Disney remakes are gonna keep happening, so let's hope they keep it at least to this level of quality. Particularly, I've seen a lot of people look at the crap. Look at the crap. I mean, I guess in their minds, that's what they're doing.